Thank you very much. Good evening. So today I'm going to just basically touch on the subject of business and sustainability as to what role business plays, why business is important to sustainability, and also focus on what's your role, why you are so important to sustainability. So these are the recent pictures from developing countries. See what we are doing to our air quality. And this is what we are doing to land, water, animals, and wildlife. Again, you would say, well, these are developing countries, what good to me? Well, you'd be surprised to know that the US is a bigger polluter than these nations. You are most familiar with commercial planes. At any given time, there are 3,000 to 5,000 commercial planes in the US airspace. And again, I'm not including the Air Force, the cargo planes, or the CEO planes. Every other CEO has a plane of his own. There are 200 million registered cars in the US, 100 million trucks registered in the US. So you can see how much pollution we generate. You see, each skyscraper generates more carbon footprint than 4 villages in China or India. So, this is what we are doing to our planet. The correct time to address this issue was 25 years ago. We are just 25 years late. But now the problem is, if we don't address it now, we are running out of time. This is it. Either fix things now, or our next generation is going to pay a very heavy price. So I'm sure you understand the importance, the critical nature of what situation we are in. The only thing I can do is, on behalf of my generation, I can apologize for, hey, we screwed up, we are sorry. But then we are handing you over a huge problem that you need to fix. You got to be the smartest generation to fix this issue. So you got to think that it's now or never. So you got to take this matter very seriously. So let's talk about that. Yes, given environmental problems are global in nature, but let's dissect that what other nations are doing about it. It's in the common interest of all nations to establish policies for sustainable development. That's true. But none of the countries are doing anything about it. The biggest polluters are China, US, Russia, and India. 80% of the pollution are created by two countries, Chinese and US. And the truth of the matter is, we're not doing anything about it. China is not doing anything about it. There's no regulations in place. Yeah. Oh, I'm sorry.
I'm very sorry to see.
No, that's fine.
This room.
So, I'll stand here. I'm sorry. I'm used to talking to Toshiba guys. They get paid to listen to me, so they sleep all the time. Thank you for pointing that out. So, yes, it's given that it's a common interest of all nations to establish policies and sustainable development. And that includes economic goals, social goals, resources which are very limited, and environmental goals. December, I was visiting these nations, and firsthand I saw that they're not doing anything about it. So it's very, very important that we address it. And as you know, our record has not been very good either. The first environmental summit was held by UN in 1983. In 1992, we held another one in Rio. Came 1997 in Kyoto. And then 2002 in Johannesburg. We've been talking about it, not done anything. So it's very important for us to understand that there's no political commitment to solve this problem. The United Nations is the most ineffective body as far as environment is concerned. They're not doing anything about it. So, you think we have lost the battle on sustainability? Well, we can't afford to lose it. The very survival of the next generation depends on it. So we just can't lose, we just can't pack our bags and say, okay, we've given up. So we got to take the other route. Politicians are not doing anything about it. United Nations are not doing anything about it. Countries are not doing anything about it. So that leaves businesses. Okay? Now all medium to big businesses are global organizations today. So if we can go that route, that is one way we can make a difference. For example, you walk into Walmart, you pick up a shirt, you see the made in China, India, Indonesia. It's an American organization, works globally, so if we can influence Walmart or say another business to go green and ensure they make sure that their suppliers are green, that we can make an impact. So that is one way we can make a huge impact by making our businesses green. Rather than going through a route and waiting for a politician, waiting for a right president to come, or waiting for nations to make enough regulations. Well, there are countries, they can't enforce any regulations. So I think the one way that we can address this problem is through our businesses. So let's talk about global organizations and its supply chain. The most, just remembering about it. So if you couldn't hear me, let me know. I'm in a habit of walking around. Okay? So what influences the business most? It's the stakeholders, people who invest money in the business. Now there are two kinds of stakeholders that controls the organization. One is financial institution. Their interest is guaranteed return over a long period of time. So they're not interested whether your business goes green or you invest money in green technology. Because they are financial institutions like banks. They would rather invest that money in the house. It is 30-year return. They're looking for that kind of investment. The other investors that invest money in businesses are mutual fund investors. Now, these are the most powerful investors today. Your 401, pension plan, hedge funds. They are the people who don't look at long-term. They look at two things. They want higher return, but they look for the market trend. They invest money where they think the market trend is moving, and they can invest money in change and innovation. For example, Apple. For Apple decided a product which will download music from internet, its stock was 28 to 35. And everybody was standing on the fence. Nobody wanted to invest money in Apple. They were thinking, hey, Apple is going to wrap up, go belly up. But what happened? These investors, when they saw that a lot of people, a lot of customers were downloading music, they knew there is a future there and started pouring money in. So what drives business is these investors, and we have tons and tons of billions of dollars waiting to be invested. Okay? But like I said, they look for two things. Political commitment. Now in green technology, we do not have political commitment. Or the market trends. If they think the market is going one way, they will invest a lot of money in change and innovation and new technology. Now where does the market trend come from? It comes from customers, people like you and I. If you stop using electricity or slash it by 50%, guess what happens? These investors are going to look at these electricity generators and they say, hey, the trend is downwards. So they're going to take the money out, and yes, they're going to invest it in new technology. So you drive the trend. Remember that. You are the most powerful entity if you want to make changes, especially in the case of environment. It is not politicians, it's not countries, it's not regulations. It's you. You play a major role in changing the trend towards which the country wants to be or the business wants to go. So Change in innovation comes. Yes, people invest a lot of money, but people don't buy it. That's it. These investors take the money and run. But if you make it successful, so you got to change your thinking. So you got to start thinking global and act green. Because the whole thing hinges on you, basically. So you got to start think globally. If you buy a material, think where it is coming from. If it is coming from India, you know, they have polluted the hell out of it before they give you a $5 shirt. So you got to be a prudent buyer. So you got to start thinking globally, and again, like I said, think green. How can you, because all the American presidents, when they go to the summits, the first thing they hear is, okay, it's stop preaching. Practice what you preach. That is the message every president comes back from the summits. That you are the biggest polluter. You don't practice what you preach. Don't come and tell us anything. If China is not doing anything about it, India is not doing anything about it, it's the same issue. It's because we don't practice what we preach. So now it's the time for you guys to start practicing. Because like I was just discussing, that the whole world is basically aping us. They look at us, what we do, they follow suit. So if you start thinking green, acting green, they will follow your footsteps. Chinese wear the same clothes as you do. They talk the same language as you do. Same thing with Indians. Now the new young Russians do the same thing. They watch Hollywood movies, they just follow your footsteps. They do exactly what you do. So if you start acting green, they will also follow your footstep on that. So it's very, very important. So now what is involved? So remember, the fact is, if you want our future generation to enjoy a healthy and a prosperous earth, then we must correct our behaviors now. It's very important that we must change now. Like I said, time is running out. So what is involved? So what am I asking you to change? It is just a little tweak in your behavior, that's it. The first thing you need to understand that every activity you do interacts with the environment. Okay? And that is called environmental aspect. So you should know your aspects. Because anything you do, you take a gum, throw a wrapper. That wrapper is paper. Comes from where? Natural resource, that's your aspect. You throw it in a trash can, it goes to a landfill. The impact to the environment. And that's the next thing you should be aware of. Any change to the environment, whether adverse or beneficial, wholly or partially resulting from your aspect, is impact. So you should know how you're impacting the environment. Now, if you take that same paper and put it in a recycle bin, the impact is good. So that's all I'm asking you to do. Know what your aspects are, know how you're impacting the environment. All you have to do is do more of good things, less of bad things. If you trash that small piece of paper in a trash can which goes into a landfill, it's bad. If you take the same piece of paper and put it in a recycle bin, it is recycled, it will be reused. That's good. That's all I'm asking you to do. I'm not asking you to do more. It's easy. It's just that our thinking has to be, our behavior has to change. Sustainability is not very tough. It's the easiest thing in the world. The only thing is you have to change our thinking and behavior. Okay? We all use computers, right? What is our aspect here? Is consumption of electricity. What is the impact? It's a depletion of energy resource. Now we don't think about it, but where is this electricity coming from? It's coming from a thermal power station which is running on coal, which pollutes the hell out of thing to give you that electricity which you don't even think before you use it. Okay? If you're not in a room, like I've seen houses with all lights on, why do we need that? It is just asking to change your behavior. If you're not if you're not in a room, turn the light off. My son keeps his desktop on 24/7. Why? Right? You go to any city in America, the skyscrapers, all the lights are on. Why? That's all I'm asking. Think. If you're not in a room, turn it off. That's a very small, minor thing. And that's what I did in my company. used or added sensors all over the place. If people are not in the room, lights will go off automatically. That's all you need to do. It's a simple thing. Let's see how much electricity is going to save, how much pollution is going to prevent. And talking about market trend, if all of us in the US slash our electricity bill by half, guess what's going to happen to all these investors? They're going to look, the trend is going downwards, they're going to immediately invest in alternative renewable energy and see, we will change it overnight. Just your behavior. And what happens with this money saved? It's in your pocket. My home electricity bill was $300 a month. When I started slashing it by 50, now it's $80 a month. Air conditioning was on all the time. Hey, I want a house cool when I come back. Why? If I'm alone in the house, why do I need the air conditioning on for the house? All I have to do is take a small cooler. I can buy one from Walmart, right, for $39.99 and keep it in my room where I'm using it. If there's no one else in the house, I don't need to turn the whole air conditioning on. We don't think that. In winters, we turn the heat on. The whole house is heated, even though one person is just in one room. Just that we got to think. That just by, it's money in your pocket. I've been fighting with my wife for the last year and a half. She wants to drive SUVs. And I said, no SUVs. She said, I'll keep driving Camry. I said, please be my guest. I want a smaller car which gives me 40 miles to a gallon. I am not going to, there will be no V6 or V8 parked outside my house. It's just a behavioral change. Why do I need a V6? It takes me from point A to point B, right? Why do I need 8 miles to a gallon guzzler to go from point A to point B? It's just a way of thinking. My neighbor who drives a truck to go to his office, I can tell you the price of the gas by looking at him every day. When he's in a good mood, I know it's $2. When he's complaining and in a nasty mood and yelling at his kid, I know it must have gone over $3. And it is. But why do you drive truck? Why do you have to drive a V8 to go to work? I don't understand that. I've introduced in my office carpooling. Hey, if there's somebody coming from your neck of the woods, hey, talk the way or relax. So if I slash my gasoline bill by 50%, who's the winner here? It's me. And I have cut down my gasoline bill. It's not difficult. And guess who's the strongest lobby in the whole world? It's the oil guys. Our presidents don't open the mouth in front of them. And why? Because we all want to drive our independent cars. One guy on one car on a freeway. When three can go on the same car to the same point. We have to change our behavior. The biggest polluter in the world is oil and coal. And all we need to do to beat this, we don't need politicians. We just need to change our behavior. Why do I need V8? Half of the guys in Toshiba drive V8 trucks to go to work. Why? It beats me. So just think about that. The small changes we bring to our life is going to impact our environment a lot and impacts our business a lot because people are watching the business trends. If the gasoline use goes down, guess what's going to happen? Suddenly the alternate car is going to mushroom up. Because we have a lot of money waiting out there to be invested in more, but they all watch you. If you don't change your habit, they're not going to invest in alternate technology. You will get a lot of press thing every time, oh, we're going to bring all electric car. I've been hearing that for the last 20 years. I've never seen an all electric car which is useful till today. They have the technology, but they want to invest in it. Because you guys are not changing your habits. And the moment your business trend goes that people are being careful, they are driving small cars, and once the message gets to these investors that, hey, people are going for alternate cars, guess what happens? Just making big V8 and V6s. So it all, you are going to drive it. So remember that. You are very powerful. So same thing with paper. It's a very minimal thing. We print everything. I like an article, I print it. When I used to train people, I used to print like 300 people at a time. Of course, they're all paid to listen to me, but I used to give them handouts. And I know what they used to do with my handouts. The moment they reach their office, it's trash it. So first thing I did was, nobody's going to print paper till it's a must. I stopped printing paper. Why? How many trees are we killing just by printing paper? So think 10 times before you print something, especially in color. Okay, so you're using that toner, that's again, you're depleting natural resource. So all I'm telling you to change, again, not change, is basically common sense. It's smart thinking. Why do I waste a natural resource? Every time you order something from eBay or something, it comes in a box. What do? We throw the box in the trash. Goes to a landfill. Well, start reusing. Packing material can be reused. Box can be reused to ship something out tomorrow. Pack it easily and put it in the garage. Reuse it or recycle it. Don't put it in a garbage so it goes into a landfill. Again, it's not a huge change. It's just that you're being nice to the environment for once. Okay? So it's very important to think that way. So most of you are students, or you work in office kind of environment, you consume electricity. Make it a commitment that I'm going to slash my electricity use by half. Is it very difficult to ask? No. Because when you leave your room, everything is on. The television is on, the printer is on, your computer is on. Turn everything off before you go. Before you know, you slash your bill by half. It's not asking a huge thing. Water consumption. You know, water is a very precious resource. Luckily, we are having rains, but we have rains every 5-6 years. Before you start hearing we are out of water. Stop your 20-minute showers, replace it with 5-minute showers, right? In offices, I have put that hand sanitizers. So use the sanitizer, you don't have to wash your hands every time. Stop using tissue papers, use hand sanitizer. Again, small tweaks, small changes, a huge impact on the environment. Okay, so those are the things that you've got to start thinking. Like US is one of the biggest polluters in the country, in the world, and how it adds up. All our activities in US adds up to what US produces as carbon footprint. So as you know what a carbon footprint is. It's a measure of impact of our activities have on the environment. It is measured in tons of CO2 equivalent. US produces 6,000 tons of CO2, and that was 2007. I don't know about 2008 or 2009. Now, there are two kinds of footprints that you should be aware. One is primary footprint, that measure of direct emission of CO2 from burning fossil fuels, including domestic energy consumption and transportation, and you have direct control over that. So let's look at the ones that you have direct control. Gas at home, gas at home, right? Again, you can slash that bill by 50%, but right now if you look at an average family in US, 15% comes from gas, 12% from electricity, 10% from private transport, 3% from public, and 6% from flights. Just make changes, be aware what are your direct impacts, and then you can tweak it. Okay, so basically what I'm trying to tell you, that for example, I used to fly 3 times a month. I haven't flown for business for the last 6 months. What I do is I call a person, train him, and have him train everybody else. I can audit people on the phone. I don't have to go there. So you can cut down. Indirect, you can see that. And if you just think about it, you can cut all those things down. Why do you have to buy 20 shirts? Because it's cheap? No. So think about it. Where it was made. If If it is made in India, you see how much they polluted to give you that shirt. So moment your business or your market trend goes down, investing in the business changes accordingly. You will bring all your manufacturing back home if you listen to me what I'm telling you. It's that easy. Today, all the manufacturing has gone to China. Tomorrow, you will be in the job market and you won't find a job because, you know why? Because all the IT business, all the manufacturing business has gone abroad. You know why? Because of our habits. If you don't buy that kind of product, it will not be feasible, practical for Walmart to get that product from India, transport it all the way to the US. You will rather have a factory here across the street from Walmart because hey, investors saying there's no point getting it from India anymore. It's cheaper to get it in the US. So think about that. It is in your hands. So some of the things that you can really use is good housekeeping, maintenance practices. If you see something leaking, oil, water, fix it. Don't let it go. Okay? Spill prevention. If you are having oil chemicals at home, make sure that you don't spill it, or you have something to prevent it. Inventory management. Always know what you have. Just don't keep buying stuff you don't need. Okay? Prudent purchasing, like I explained. You buy something you need. If you don't need it, you don't have to just because it's cheap. Okay? The Indians have, every business, they have that photograph where they show a Walmart people trampling or other people. I'm telling you, they are having fun on that because that's the way they know. Hey, we've got to make more shirts. Okay? They sell things cheaper here. Why? You know that? Everything is controlled by government. So they tell you there's a huge domestic demand, so you make your money domestic market, take a hit on the export. And they are compensated by the government. So they sell things under cost to you so that they keep you hooked on. So don't fall for that trap. So think about it before you spend another dollar. Every dollar you spend, remember that 50% is being created by, or either polluted, or emissions were created on your behalf. 3 R's, remember that. Reduce, reuse, recycle. Make it as your mantra. That I want to reduce wastage, reuse everything, and recycle everything. Okay? Now, this is one thing I want you to learn is you should manage everything in life. Okay? Management is the most important key to be successful in life. How many times you fell off the diet routine because you didn't manage it? How many times you promised yourself, I'll go to the gym, and you didn't go after a while because you didn't manage it? Now, this is a Deming cycle. It is called plan, do, check, act. So remember, whether it's environment, it's your career, use this. Always have a goal. Like sustainability is a very simple goal / use of everything by half. When it comes to your career, think 5 years ahead. Where do you want to go? Where do you want to be? Start planning. Okay, how do you get there? What competencies, skills, steps you need to go to reach your goal? Do it. Then review it, check it. What you did was right or no? Act on it. And then repeat the cycle. And you see that wedge? For Toshiba, that's me. I don't let them slide back. They don't like me. Because if you don't, for you it's a discipline and dedication. Remember those 2 words, double D's. For me it's a standard because I don't let them slide back. If they have to a certain level, if they slide back, I give them help because that is in violation to the standard to which the wheel is stuck. For you, it's discipline and dedication. Those 2 words. If you stick that 2 words there, you will always go ahead in life, never slide back, no matter what you do. Remember these 2 words. Right? So, in the environmental management, like I explained, it's all yours. You got to manage it. And this is again, so these are the planning for your environment. I just want to make it brief. Education and awareness, that's very critical for anything you do, especially environment. You increase your awareness, I just explained you what aspects are, impacts are. Then you conserve your resources. Slash your pollution by 50%. Remember, make it a goal. Sustainability is meeting the needs of the present without compromising the ability of future generations to meet their needs. So this is your goal. Okay? Thank you very much.